The Amfleet coaches are going through the concrete pillars. How does this happen? This is completely unacceptable. And this is shipping tomorrow. Hey Rail fans, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, an amazing week so far. By the time this video goes up, it's probably going to be very, very late, but I'm gonna try my best to push this out late Monday night because, well, what happens tomorrow? The new DLCs, plural, come out. The new route, New York Trenton, Acela Express, the freight bundle, all of it. It's all coming tomorrow, less than 24 hours after the official live stream. So I feel like if I wait too long, this video becomes pointless. So I'm gonna shove this thing up sometime late. So the stream happened today and I have a lot of thoughts. Honestly, I should have grabbed a notepad or opened the notes app on my phone to jot down a lot of my thoughts, but there was just a lot going through my head. The first thing that I want to talk about are the positives. I think that they did a really, really good job from what we saw on the stream with visuals and scenery. I thought most of it was actually really good. I was very impressed by the details at a lot of the stations, most importantly New Brunswick. I thought they did good with that. Princeton Junction looked good. From what we saw for Hamilton, New Jersey Transit Station, I thought that looked really good as well. Modeling done very, very well. I loved what they did with the PRR catenary. They have some new, more updated gantries, and then they also have some older ones that look like they've rusted, and they've kind of mixed them onto the route and alternate between them, so it really gives like some of that authenticity that we have in real life. Definitely doesn't make it seem like they just took the same gantry, the same poles, and just copied and pasted every single one in a straight line. The scenery, the gantries, the tracks look good, all of that. Of course, the environment looking better than ever. Obviously, it's Train Sim World 3, the lighting, the clouds. They did mention that they are going to look into the nighttime lighting when they were in the cab car heading north. They mentioned that it wasn't the best they could do or something along those lines and that they wanted to look into it more. I personally thought it looked great. I thought it looked fine. That was the least of my worries. And that's going to bring me into a point that I want to cover later on in this video. I feel like priorities are definitely an issue with Dovetail, especially with this route. I feel like they're worrying more about things that are less important, and then things that are more important they're shoving on the back burner. For example, the timetable. Oh, I have a lot to say about that. We'll get into that later. Up next, I want to talk about the sounds. Okay, so for the ALP, I was really, really concerned for that train because with what we saw in one of the first demo clips back when things leaked, what was it, a few weeks ago, a month ago now, I don't know how long it's been. It might not even have been that long, to be honest. It feels like it's been that long. The horn wasn't the best, but we heard the horn today. Oh, it sounds great. It sounds good inside. It sounds good outside. The horn for the cab car sounds really good too, and from that little teaser the other day, I thought it was pretty sharp, you know, and didn't have enough reverb on it. Whatever they did to it, I don't know if they changed it around or if we just didn't hear all of it or if that was an old video clip, but from what we had today, it sounds like there was a lot more reverb on the cab car horn. That sounded really good to me. But the main issue, and this is what I really want to talk about, it comes down to the timetable. Because what was that? I was watching the stream and disappointment is truly an understatement. Like, I truly can't be more disappointed in that. And I already knew, everyone on the forums, all of us that are on here talking about the lack of more services, we already knew the route was going to be barren. We knew it was going to be a ghost town. It was already previously confirmed that a majority of New Jersey transit services were being left out. Yes, I know not all of these services are running all the way down to Trenton, but from Rahway to New York Penn, more specifically Newark to Penn, it is insanely busy, especially that stretch between New York Penn and Secaucus. It is insanely busy, especially during rush hour. And when they were live today, they were taking New Jersey Transit out of New York Penn, through the tunnels, through Secaucus Junction, past Newark International Airport, heading south. They were doing this at 7:30 in the morning during rush hour, and from the tunnels to Newark International Airport, I swear they only passed like, what, 1 or 2 northbound New Jersey transits and 1 Acela Express, which is an add-on layer. So if you don't even have the Acela, you're not even gonna see that go by. The route is barren. It is a ghost town. It is so empty, and I can't express how disappointing it is. I wanted to get the positives out of the way first because I don't want this to seem like I'm just coming on here to moan and complain and say everything's terrible, because everything is not terrible at all. They did a great job with the scenery and the visuals. I was blown away by it. I was like, wow, this looks so good. This is totally up to their standards for Train Sim World 3, but what's going on with the priorities? They seem to be prioritizing getting all of these locomotives in, really focusing in on the scenery, and I'm happy the signals work properly. Trust me, I do. And I know that that took a lot of time, a lot of resources, but it seems like no effort went into that timetable. Like that was at the very end of their party list. That was just shoved on the back burner. They probably ran out of time. They probably ran out of resources and were like, all right, we're pushing this thing out with 200 something services, when a large chunk of those 200 something services are yard moves to begin with. And we knew before going into the stream, it was going to feel empty, especially on that leg between Newark and New York Penn. And look what happened. No static freight, no Long Island Railroad AI services at New York Penn. New York Penn looked really barren and really empty without that. It was really disappointing. Everything just seemed empty and lifeless. And I want to go into more detail with New York Penn. This was at the beginning of the stream, really, when they were first leaving the station to begin their journey south. This is from the stream picture provided by Jamie on the forums. The Amfleet coaches are going through the concrete pillars. How does this happen? This is completely unacceptable. And this is shipping tomorrow. I'm sure they will go in and work on this and fix this. I don't know if they ran out of time, if they ran out of resources. I mean, it's becoming really obvious they're given strict deadlines. They can't get to everything. But when you have things like this happening, trains going through pillars, I'm sorry, this should have been pushed back and delayed. This is not acceptable to ship. And then we have price hikes on top of that. The price of routes going up even more, and it looks like the quality just is not there. It was even noticed that the pantographs on the trains weren't even up. There was no contact with the overhead catenary, yet these trains are powered and moving. Immersion? Absolutely none. I can't even say that this is disappointing. This is unacceptable. I will say, thankfully, Matt did address this during the stream, and they said that they're looking into it, so we can probably expect a fix for this sometime soon, but they definitely need to look into this timetable because that is also unacceptable. That's what makes the route come to life. That's what makes it fun. That's what brings so many players back in to play it, is having that level of immersion and it feeling real. There was nothing going on at rush hour. So if these routes were that quiet at 7:30 in the morning, what's gonna be happening at 8, 9, 10, 11 p.m. at night? It's going to be even worse than that. And yeah, I know that traffic normally isn't super busy between Trenton and, I would say, Newark International. That leg is going to be generally less busy than the northern leg, I'd say Newark North towards New York Penn, but even that little leg there was still empty as well, and there's absolutely no excuse for that. This has been an ongoing discussion on the forums. I'm gonna have all this linked below in the comments, guys. Join the forums, create an account. Again, get involved with this discussion, express how much this means to you if it has any significance to you, because the only way things are going to improve, the only way things are going to change is if more people come forward and say, you know what, enough is enough. This needs to improve. We're tired of the cut corners and we're tired of the excuses, and Dovetail as a company needs to do better. I could go on more about this, but I've already talked about this in previous videos on the channel, so make sure you go check that out. I'm getting ready to wrap up my thoughts here. Those are the things that stood out to me the most with this live stream today. And I have to say, in terms of the timetable and more services, it's pretty much already been confirmed on the forums that there are currently, and I would put in quotes because this was actually said, no plans to improve the timetable. So I wouldn't hold your breath for it, but you know, if enough of us speak up, I guess that could change. And that's why I tell you guys, click the links that are pinned in the comments, join the forums, join the discussion, because US players specifically, we deserve better. Gosh, London Commuter has so many services and so many people love that route because of its busyness and its liveliness. And that's gonna bring me to a post that was actually posted on the forums tonight that like perfectly summed up my thoughts. This post was made by MattWild55 on the Dovetail Games forums. A community very unhappy with New York Trenton, which has been known here on the forums. This thread has like 35,000 views already. That is insane. 19 pages, almost 20 pages now, will probably be 20 pages by midnight. A community very unhappy with New York to Trenton due to the timetable, despite most admitting that the scenery hits the mark, and yet London to Brighton, a route that is still riddled with various scenery issues and other bugs, is held up as an exemplary route by myself also, almost entirely because of the quality of the timetable. I'm not sure how various aspects of a route are prioritized at Dovetail Game Towers, but I'd like to see the gameplay and in particular the timetable shot right to the top of the list for all future routes. This includes the aspects which the timetable relies upon to function smoothly, realistically, and comprehensively. Signaling/dispatcher and as many appropriate logos included as possible. Yeah, I'm definitely worried for Peak Forest as well, because I'm sure a lot of corners are gonna be cut with that, but this hits the nail on the head for me. It seems like there is a priority issue at Dovetail. The general consensus, it really seems like they're running out of time, they're running out of resources, there's only so much that whoever's above them is letting them do with the time that they have. They're a company, they have to churn out DLC in a window for a deadline. You know, they have to make revenue. So if you apply that mindset, they're going to have to prioritize certain things over others. If they run out of time, then of course, they're not going to be able to implement certain things. And it seems like that they definitely put the timetable at the end of the list and everything else forward, when me personally, I would much rather have some scenery that's inaccurate and some other things that are inaccurate, but have a very good solid timetable, a busy route that's going to keep me coming back for more. I wouldn't have such an issue with the timetable if there was an ability to create and import and customize and make our own timetables, but that doesn't exist. We can't do that. We can go into Scenario Planner, but the options with Scenario Planner are limited as well. And for a while, Scenario Planner 2.0 was on the roadmap and then it was just removed. So it doesn't even seem like that's even a priority for them. So we have to rely on them with the timetable to make it good, because there's nothing that we as the player, as the consumer, can do about that. Those are my thoughts. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that just weren't quite right, but those were the things that stood out the most to me and why I think this route is just not worth the money. Maybe when it goes on sale, but this is not going to be worth it, at least at launch. I don't recommend you buy it right away. I am going to buy it because I want to review it and post videos on it for you guys, but I don't recommend buying this until it's on sale. I do not think it's worth it, and it really is going to pain me to purchase it, and I am going to hate to purchase this, especially at full price with the way it's launching, but I do not recommend that you do so. Share your thoughts below on the stream today and your expectations for the launch of this tomorrow, but I'm gonna end this video by saying, because I didn't really talk about the Acela looks amazing. Boston to Providence looks amazing. The star of the show, the highlight of the stream for me, was the Acela Express. I cannot recommend that more. I think if you should buy anything tomorrow, it's the Acela and the Acela only, unless they decide to go in here and fix a lot of these issues with New York to Trenton and really ump up that timetable, give us more AI services, fix New York Penn, but that's all that I have. Take care, guys. Happy rail simming.